Welcome back to Recap in Short. Today I will show you a drama, thriller, and supernatural horror film from 2025 titled Sinners. Spoilers ahead. The movie opens with a voiceover narrating that there are legends of people born with the gift of making music so powerful it can pierce the veil of life and death, bringing spirits from the past and the future. In West Africa, they were called griots. This gift can bring healing to their communities, but it also attracts evil. On October 16, 1932, in Clarksdale, Mississippi, Sammy Moore arrives at a church, his face torn with claw marks and the shattered neck of a guitar clutched in his hand. Inside, his father, Pastor Jedediah Moore, urges him to come in and offers comfort. Pleading with his son to abandon his sinful path and return to God, Jedediah speaks with conviction, but Sammy remains silent, gripping the broken guitar. As his father's words echo, Sammy experiences haunting visions of someone attacking him violently. The story then jumps back to one day earlier. Sammy's cousins, twin brothers Elijah Smoke Moore and Elias Stack Moore, return to their hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi, after some time in Chicago. They wait patiently for someone to arrive. Soon a car pulls up, and a man named Hogwood, a former Klansman, steps out. He takes them to an abandoned sawmill, a rundown property the brothers plan to transform into a juke joint for the black community. Using money they've stolen from gangsters, Smoke and Stack hand over the cash to Hogwood, sealing the deal, and warn Hogwood that they are willing to defend their property from the Klan by any means necessary. The twins next visit their uncle Jedediah to pick up Sammy. Jedediah does not approve, but Sammy goes along, promising to return for the Sunday service the next morning. The trio next heads to a hidden spot by the roadside where they've stashed a truck full of alcohol meant for the big opening party at the sawmill. After inspecting the truck, Smoke suggests waiting until next weekend to open the juke joint, but Stack insists it has to be tonight. Reluctantly, Smoke agrees. The group then splits up. Stack and Sammy head off to start setting up the juke joint, while Smoke drives the truck into town. Upon arrival, he spots a young girl and asks her to watch the truck, and if anyone lingers too long, to honk the horn. He promises to pay her 10 cents for every minute she keeps watch. He then meets his old friend Bo Chow and his daughter Lisa. Smoke asks Bo for the food supplies they'll need for the juke joint's opening night. Just then, the sound of the truck horn blares from outside. Smoke rushes out to find two men trying to steal from the back of the truck. Without hesitation, he pulls his gun, shooting one in the back and the other in the leg. One of the wounded men recognizes Smoke and quickly apologizes. Calmly, Smoke heads back inside and hands Bo some cash, asking him to take care of the situation. He also mentions needing a sign made for the event. Bo calls to his wife, Grace, who agrees to do the job for $14. Meanwhile, Stack brings along Sammy. On the way, Sammy, who dreams of being a blues musician, plays a tune, and Stack is genuinely impressed by his raw talent. They head to the local train station in search of Delta Slim, an older, well-known blues singer in the area, hoping to recruit him for the juke joint's opening night. At first, Slim declines the offer, but when Stack tempts him with a bottle of the Irish beer they plan to sell at the party, Slim changes his mind and agrees to perform. Slim and Sammy put on a small performance at the station, attracting a crowd for the club's grand opening. While there, Sammy becomes captivated by Pearline, a married woman, and flirts with her, inviting her to the opening night. At the same time, Mary, a childhood friend of the twins and Stack's former lover, confronts him for abandoning her. Though now married, she confesses that she still has feelings for him. On the way back, Stack spots his old friend Cornbread, working in a cotton field alongside his wife Therese. Stack recruits him as their doorman for the evening. Smoke pays a visit to his estranged lover, Annie, a voodoo practitioner. After solemnly honoring the memory of their late daughter, he returns a mojo bag Annie once gave him for protection. He asks her to come help at the juke joint, tending bar and frying catfish for the crowd. After some hesitation, Annie agrees to join him. Meanwhile, in a small shack, a married couple, Bert and Joan, are startled when a man named Remick comes to their door. He pleads for shelter, claiming to be hunted by Choctaw Indians, and offers gold in exchange for protection. Reluctantly, the couple lets him in and hides him. Soon after, a group of Choctaw men arrive, warning Joan that the stranger is dangerous, but she forces them away at gunpoint. Once they leave, Joan returns inside. She finds Remick, a vampire, has already turned her husband into a vampire, and soon shares his fate. As the sun sets, the brothers open the juke joint for business, and a large crowd quickly pours in. However, tensions rise when they begin arguing over customers trying to pay with plantation tokens, a currency issued by the local cotton plantation, only valid at their company stores. Smoke quickly realizes that accepting these tokens will cut deeply into their expected profits. Soon, Mary arrives at the club. She refuses to leave when Stack orders her. Sammy also receives a surprise when he sees Pearline show up. Not long after, he takes the stage alongside Slim to perform. The song proves to be so full of soul, it seems to transcend time and permeate through every soul in the juke joint. After the performance, Remick, Bert, and Joan appear at the front door of the joint, posing as traveling musicians lured by the lively sounds from inside. They ask to join the party, spend some money, and enjoy the night. With a smile and a flourish, they strike up a cheerful melody, hoping to charm their way inside. But Smoke, being suspicious, firmly denies them entry. Following this confrontation, Stack confides in Mary about his and Smoke's financial situation. Wanting to help, Mary goes to talk to Remick, Bert, and Joan, who have not gone far. They show her some strange gold coins. But then Remick's eyes flash red and he starts drooling. Realizing something is wrong, Mary pulls out her gun and tries to leave, but is turned into a vampire. Mary quietly returns and is let back into the juke joint by Cornbread. Inside, she seduces Stack, eventually luring him into a side room. Meanwhile, Cornbread steps out for a quick break, leaving Slim to cover the door. Outside, strange noises catch Cornbread's attention, and he's lured away into the dark. Inside the joint, tensions erupt when one patron slashes another across the face with a razor after getting caught using loaded dice. Smoke quickly intervenes to restore order, then goes looking for Stack, only to discover Mary hunched over him, her teeth sunk deep into his neck. Without thinking twice, Smoke draws his gun and fires at her. Mary collapses, but just moments later, she rises with a wicked laugh and bolts out of the building, vanishing into the night. Smoke rushes to his brother's side, desperate to save him, but Stack's wounds are too grave. In the aftermath, Slim shuts down the party, telling the guests to go home, leaving only a handful of people behind. Stack's body is locked away in the storage room. Grace, shaken, insists on leaving, so her husband heads out to fetch the car. Cornbread, now turned vampire, soon reappears at the front door, asking to be let in. The group finds his behavior to be strange, refusing him entry. Undeterred, Cornbread demands the payment he's owed. As Smoke reaches out to hand him the cash, Cornbread suddenly lunges, aiming to sink his teeth into Smoke's arm. Smoke reacts fast, pulling his gun and firing a shot straight into Cornbread's face. But even after the hit, Cornbread keeps moving. Panicked, the group retreats inside, locking the front door. Then from the storage room, Stack's voice is heard, demanding to be let out. Annie warns Smoke not to open the door, but Stack bursts through the door. Thinking fast, Annie hurls some water laced with garlic at him. It sears his flesh, causing him to scream and bolt out the front door in agony. Annie, her suspicions now confirmed, tells everyone that they're dealing with vampires. Meanwhile, outside, Remick has turned everyone who left the juke joint earlier, including Bo Chow. Remick claims that he is there for Sammy, whose musical skills may help him connect with the spirits of his people. He promises to let them live if they hand him over. The group refuses to give Sammy up. Grace grows frightened when her husband, now turned, is willing to turn their daughter Lisa if she does not let them in. Remick also reveals that the brothers were set up by Hogwood, who, with his KKK followers, plans to unalive the twins and everyone at the juke joint, and Stack confirms the story, saying he saw the memories himself. Remick also tries to entice the others, claiming that becoming vampires will give them a connection and a belonging that the living world denies them. In the aftermath, Smoke believes that if they unalive Remick, everyone will be saved. But Annie reveals that everyone who was turned must be unalived by sunlight or a stake through the heart. With no way out, the group resolves to survive until dawn. but Remick and his followers outside begin singing, eventually causing Grace to snap and yell at them to come inside. With no way to escape, the survivors prepare themselves for battle, gathering stakes and loading guns. As the vampires break in, chaos erupts. They fight fiercely, but one by one, the group begins to fall. Grace charges her turned husband, driving a stake into his chest. The struggle sets them both ablaze. Amid the turmoil, Annie is bitten. Realizing what's coming, she begs Smoke to keep his promise. Choking back his grief, Smoke honors her final wish and drives a stake through her heart before the transformation can take hold. In a final act of bravery, Slim slashes his arm to lure the vampires away, giving the remaining survivors a slim chance to escape. But their path is blocked by Remick and Stack. A brutal fight erupts, and amidst the chaos, Pearline is bitten by Remick. While Smoke grapples with his vampire brother, Sammy makes a desperate run for it. Remick follows him outside, attempting to turn him, and slashes his face. Sammy does what he can to fight back, eventually breaking his guitar over Remick's head, with a silver portion of it cutting into his head. Suddenly, Smoke appears and drives a stake through Remick's chest. As the sun rises, Remick erupts into flames, and the rest of the vampires follow, burning to ashes. After retrieving gear from his truck, Smoke hands Sammy the keys to their car and tells him to head home. Anticipating trouble with Hogwood and his clansmen, Smoke arms himself and hides. His instincts prove right as Hogwood soon arrives with a group of men. Smoke launches a surprise attack, taking out the men in a brutal firefight and succeeding, but gets mortally wounded. As he takes his final breaths, he sees a vision of Annie and their baby. Meanwhile, Sammy returns to his family's church. Seeing his son battered and bloodied, Sammy's father urges him to turn away from the blues. But instead, Sammy drives off in the brother's car, clutching the shattered remains of his guitar. Time passes. Sammy rises to fame as a celebrated blues musician. In Chicago in 1992, Sammy is visited by Stack and Mary. Stack reveals that Smoke had spared his life on one condition: that he leave Sammy alone. He and Mary had fled the juke joint that night before dawn and had been following Sammy's career ever since. Stack, sensing Sammy's time is drawing near, offers to turn him, but the old man declines. They ask to hear something from the old days. Sammy obliges, bringing out his restored guitar and playing for them. In their final moments together, Sammy admits he still has nightmares about that night, but says, up until the sunset, it was the best day of his life. Stack agrees, as it was the last time he saw his brother, the last time he saw the sun, and the only time he ever felt truly free. Make sure to like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.